Good morning. This is Amanda Seifert from Beloit Elementary School in Beloit, Kansas. I'm going to try to get through this in 5 minutes. It's a lot of information to talk about. Beloit Elementary School and our USD, we are in the third year of the KESA process. We started out as a Gemini school, so we kind of got a head start on getting this process implemented into our school system. It's very intense and there's a lot of work that goes into it. We began our process in the 17-18 school year where they did a needs assessment. They selected the goals, which I'll mention later of the two we chose. And then that following summer, they went over all of the information and they planned how to implement and make our school a better place. This last year in the 18-19 school district was our implementation year. So we took all of that and started new programs and different things to get baseline data. And then this next school year, the 19-20 school year, we will just be collecting data on our two goals. I was able to sit down with our building principal, and since we are a Gemini school, the KESA Gemini team has taken each of these rubrics and gone through point by point and rated our school. So that was kind of already done for me, but it was really interesting then to sit down with the principal and talk more in depth on those things. I am not on that committee, the Gemini committee or the building leadership team, and so some of the parts I felt like I was out of loop. One of the new things they're going to implement, which I was excited about, we have preschool through, well, kindergarten through 6th grade in our elementary school, and we have 3 sections of each. And right now, my co-teacher is the one on the building leadership team. So sometimes if you're not on those groups, you may feel a little out in the dark. And so what they're going to do is each semester rotate keep half old and half new members, so that every person after 3 semesters will have gone through and been on that team. So everybody will really have a significant part to play and piece in knowing kind of what's going on. Anyway, I need to hurry and talk. I was very proud of our school because honestly, when I went through this with the principal, there were very few areas where we had no evidence or that we were implementing on. So that was kind of exciting. The four R's we've heard time and time again in our meetings: the relationships, relevance, responsive culture, and rigor. I'm going to talk about my principal's, the number 2 question on his leadership style, and then we'll come back to the 2 areas that we chose as a school district and why. It was funny, I was thinking about my principal before I even went to meet with him, and so while I was there talking about the KESA, we went ahead and talked about leadership style, and the style that came to my mind for him was democratic, and it was funny that when I brought that up, that was the first thing out of his mouth, so I guess I had a good target there. He likes to involve the staff in all decision making, and through this KESA process you can see that. He really wants our school and our staff to all feel like they have input in what's going on. So we have lots of committees and lots of groups. There's the Gemini team, there's the building leadership team. We have teams for staff morale. We have teams for choosing new curriculum. Just teams for just about everything you can think of. We have professional learning communities that we meet with weekly on grade level teams, so that we can each take ownership and go over things that we need. Our principal and our social workers meet with us on academics and on behavior. I feel very fortunate. I feel like that the administration in our district really, really listens to us. If we have concerns, we can go to them and be listened to. May not always get our way, but at least we're being listened to, so I really appreciate that. There isn't, and he agreed to, there isn't much top-down leadership as far as him telling us what we have to do, unless it's something that's completely necessary, which hopefully is the way in a lot of schools too. And as I mentioned, the KESA has created many groups that he's broken into also. Back to question number 3, what are the areas for school improvement that we identified? The team that was together identified relationships and relevance as the 2 main areas that our district was going to work on. And as I mentioned, we didn't have very many low areas. The areas that were lower here were in the families, yeah. Relating with families, and then relevance in technology. So those were some areas that we were a little lower in. Let me check my notes. The way we're going to work on these is for relationships. We started a new program. It's OVEUS. It's a bully prevention program. We were able to hire on a social worker, and she runs that program, and it's awesome. As I mentioned in my introductory video, our school implements the Boys Town social skills that helps us with our behavior. So we have taken a block of time each day to go, or each week we have one skill, and each day we take a 15-minute block to role play, talk about what that looks like, demonstrate the correct and incorrect ways to go ahead with these social skills. We came up and have a character education awards this year, where each month one student out of every classroom, so 3 per grade level, are chosen for a character education award. As I mentioned earlier, there's a staff committee for morale, which has been really fun, just a way to boost team spirit, that kind of thing. And the new one this year that I really thought was cool that we're going to implement in the 1920 school year was a parent ambassador program. It will take current families and pair them with new families. So, you know, we are blessed with a program that has orchestra in 4th grade. I mean, just little housekeeping details that sometimes when you start a new school, you get shuffled in real quick and you don't know all those little details. So I think that's going to be really awesome. And we have a really cool new counseling center with social workers available to meet with students, a safe area where we can go with students so they can help them calm down, different kinds of things like that. On the relevance, we have project-based learning that we've been implementing, so that takes a lot of training and those kinds of things. We have a new STEM program with 3D printing, coding, engineering, robotics. In 6th grade, they're starting with IPS, which is an individual plan of study, where the counselor from the junior high comes over and gives each child a career intent survey. They make a vision board so that way when they go into junior high, they're kind of prepared for these kind of things. I know my video is running really long. There's just so much to talk about with this KESA. It's hard to fit in 5 minutes. My principal wasn't sure how we were going to do it, and I'm already over. The last piece that we needed to talk about was the 3 standards, so I'll just go through those kind of quickly. The standards that support our building approach were standard number 4, the curriculum, instruction, and assessment standard. We found pieces of those that were supportive when I sat down with my principal. Standard number 5, 5E, was communicating of care and support for students, to cultivate and reinforce engagement in school, positive student conduct, those kinds of things. So with our character education plans and our relationships with the families with our new parent ambassador program. And then we had standard number 6, professional capacity of school personnel. C was to develop teachers and staff member professional knowledge, skills, and practice. We've been doing that, going to project-based learning seminars and different things, and then developing the capacity and opportunities to support the teachers. Using PBL in our classrooms, like I said, we've been going to different seminars and groups. We have one group going this week, in fact, for the summer. So sorry my video went over. There's just so much to talk about when you're kind of deep into the KESA Gemini process. So thanks for listening.